Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Donkey Kong Country, one of my favorite platforming games of all time. I played this game on the original Super Nintendo. The game came out in 1994, but I didn't play it right away. I didn't have a Super Nintendo at the time. I had a Genesis and I played Sonic games mostly, but I remember seeing this game at I think it was a Sears or something in a shopping mall, back in the mid 90s. And it made me want a Super Nintendo. I saw the opening cutscene with Donkey throwing the boombox on the steel girders and stuff. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I really, really wanted this game. And in the late 90s, maybe 1997-ish, somewhere around there, we got a Super Nintendo, and this was one of the games that I got. But I didn't find it in the stores anymore back then. We had to buy it used. We bought it at Funkoland, which was a store that you could get used games at, sort of predecessor to GameStop. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country, one of my favorite platformers ever. I mean, I grew up playing platformers like Mario and Sonic, and all sorts of other ones. And Donkey Kong Country has stood the test of time for me for sure. It's actually probably one of the ones I go back to the most. Out of all the old school Sonic and Mario games and platformers, Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 are just absolutely stellar for me. I think I might like 2 a little bit more than 1. It's just so good. But 1 is a little bit more iconic, isn't it? It's got like the levels and stuff, and the music is just a little bit more iconic. Not necessarily better, just more representative of Donkey Kong, I think. And let me tell you, this game is hard. It is tough. I have played through it a few times at this point, all the way through. And it is brutal. I always struggle with it. And, my wife also plays this game, and she grew up playing it, and she always knows all the secrets. She always tells me where to throw a barrel and stuff to get into like a secret room and stuff. And it's really funny because I don't know how she remembers all that. I played the game a bunch of times too, but I never remember where anything is. So yeah, it's always funny playing together, because she knows all that stuff. But then sometimes she still makes me do like the hard parts with the mine carts or the final boss stage and stuff. And it's just really, really hard. I think if I had to say one thing I don't love about the game, I would say it's the bosses. They're not super interesting to begin with, and they're kind of repetitive. Donkey Kong Country 2 fixes that, which is one of the reasons I think it's a little bit better. But yeah, other than the final boss, who is maybe one of the most memorable final bosses in video game history, I would say that the regular bosses from stage to stage are just not that memorable. I think I prefer games like Sonic when it comes to bosses. I think they do a better job usually. But again, DKC2 really fixed that. So props to them for sort of fixing the one weak point of the game. But yeah, it's a challenging game. And one thing I really appreciate about it is that every stage really feels different. Every time I go into a stage on a new playthrough, I always think, oh, that's this stage that has this thing going on. Every stage has like a gimmick, although I don't want to use that word because it sounds bad, but every stage has like a particular thing about it. And they're all really unique, actually. Each one is slightly different, even the ones that have the same theming, like the 2 jungle stages or 2 minecart stages, but they're not really the same, not just in layout, but in mechanics. And that is just really, really cool. When you couple that with how challenging the game is, it makes every stage really memorable. I really, really like that about the game. The level design is really good. I love exploring DK Island. I think that's a lot of fun. I love going from place to place as you're kind of exploring the island. It's super fun. I love the themes. You go from the jungle and there's caves and snowy areas and the factory. Like, there's so many cool, memorable locations, the ruins. And I love how in the background you can see the pirate ship getting closer and closer as you progress through the game. That's such a nice little detail too. I also just really love that Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong play differently. They feel different. Now, I tend to enjoy playing as Diddy Kong more. I think most people do, because he's a little bit faster and he feels a little bit easier to sort of do jumps with and stuff. But Donkey Kong can like stomp on heavier enemies and stuff, and that's really cool. And I just think it's kind of neat that they both have their own little play style, but neither one of them feels bad. I think that's nice. The game's visuals were a really big deal back in the day too. I mean, it almost looked 3D at the time, right? And of course, Now, I think it's more well known that, they were using 3D models to kind of render these 2D sprites. And that's why it has such a unique look for the time. And I really feel like these graphics have held up. Maybe that's nostalgia talking, but I really do feel like the graphics look amazing, and the weather effects in the stages look great. And I think they also are really well done because, like in the snow stages, the snow sometimes gets stronger. Like there's like a real blizzard going on, and it actually makes it hard to see for the player. So not only does it look good, it actually makes the stage more difficult as you progress through. And I just think that's such a cool touch. Maybe one of the best uses of sort of ambient effects that I'd seen from games at that time. Really, really clever usage of effects and visuals in this game. I also always love the way they use bananas to create trails, to leave maybe the occasional clue about a secret or something like that. There's so many secrets in this game. I haven't found them all. I'm sure I never will. But yeah, just a phenomenally well-crafted game. You can tell it's one of those games that they put so much care into it. And I have to talk about the music. One of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time, right up there with DKC2 as well. Fantastic music. Fantastic. David Wise is the composer, who I talked about a little bit in my Diddy Kong Racing video. One of my favorite composers of all time. I love his work. His work in the Donkey Kong Country series is phenomenal. The music in this game is unforgettable. So many great tunes. I really love, of course, the iconic DK theme that plays at the beginning of the game. But also the jungle theme is really, really iconic and really good. One of my personal favorites is the factory theme. I really like that one. And of course, everybody loves aquatic ambiance, right? It's such a phenomenal piece. So much good music in this game. I think every single stage has great music. I really can't praise this enough. I don't know if I like this soundtrack as much as the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. That one is also phenomenal. And it has what is probably my favorite song of all time, which is Sticker Brush Symphony. I love that song. I listen to it on repeat constantly. It just puts me in like a Zen mode. But this soundtrack is also stellar, fantastic. And yeah, I could just gush about this game all day. I like the enemy designs, I like the stage designs, the look of the game. Everything about it is just really, really good. I even like the difficulty, which I'm not somebody who loves really, really difficult, challenging games, but I feel like this one is just enough. For my skill level, it always pushes me where I feel like I can do this, but just barely. And so it feels just right for me, where I don't feel completely overwhelmed by the difficulty, but I also feel driven to get better and to learn the stage better. It's a really nice fit. And in terms of story, the story is pretty simple. There's not a lot there, right? King K. Rool steals Donkey Kong's bananas, and Donkey Kong goes to look for bananas and for King K. Rool, right? It's you could argue that it's maybe one of the weak spots of the game, but I feel like it's fine. I think when you compare it to Mario or Sonic stories, it's on the same. It's in the same vein of that kind of thing, it's fine. Oh, we've got to talk about the animal friends, right? We've got Rambi and, let me see if I remember their names. Espresso the ostrich and, I don't remember the frog's name. Oh, darn. Hopper? No, I'm just making that up. Is that right? I don't know. On Guard, the swordfish, of course. Probably the most useful one, just because in the water you can't attack and you can't move very quickly. So having him lets you attack enemies and move faster, and very, very useful. But yeah, I love the animal buddies. I love the way that works. I love that they have their own little bonus stages, but you can also use them in the stages. Fantastic stuff. I always have slightly mixed feelings about the fact that they can only be used in certain areas and in certain stages, as opposed to Yoshi from Mario World, which you can take into anywhere other than the Boo houses and the castles. But the nice thing about the way they did it in Donkey Kong Country is that it lets them craft the stage very knowingly where you'll have an animal, and then they can do secret things around that and do shortcuts and other things like that based specifically on what animal you'll have and all of that. So I sort of get it, but yeah, I love the animal buddies in this game. Really cool stuff. The ending and the final boss are awesome. Some of the most iconic things in video game history for me. Absolutely legendary stuff. It's so hard. The final boss fight is so hard. And the craziest part for me is that in DKC2, the final boss there is even harder. But here, it's tough. Every time I play this game again, it takes me so many tries to beat K. Rool at the end there. It's a really tough fight, but I love the way they do it. I love everything they do with that fight. There's something about the platforming in this game. It's got a certain flow to it. People always talk about Sonic and how there's a certain momentum that you get building up when you play Sonic, and you know the stages somewhat and you can really speed through them, and I agree with all of that, but I also feel like it's very true here too. Granted, you're not moving as fast as Sonic is, but there's a certain flow to the game, a certain rhythm in the way that Donkey Kong does the rolls and Diddy Kong does the cartwheels, and you can do that off enemies, just sort of restart the timer on them, and you can just really flow through the stage, and you get this sort of rhythm going, and you get into a really nice flow through the stage. It's hard to describe, but if you've played the game, you probably know what I'm talking about, and it's a really, really nice feeling. It's one of the best feeling platformers I think I've ever played, 2D platformers at least. Just really, really good stuff. And I just really like the way the characters move and control. They're not too fast, they're not too slow, they feel just right. It's really, really polished stuff for me. The only thing I would say that maybe isn't always great with the platforming is I feel like the camera feels a little zoomed in at times. I wish sometimes you could get a better look at your surroundings, but it's very rarely an issue throughout the game. It's only in a couple spots that it can be a little awkward, but overall I just think the platforming in this game is top-notch. Again, one of my favorites of all time. And I have to say that I just particularly love the minecart levels. It's funny because I always think of them when I think about this game, but there's really only a few of them. There's not that many, but they're so iconic to me. I just love them so much. They're so much fun. They can be pretty tough, but I don't know, I just really, really like those minecart levels. Yeah, there's just so many little quirks about this game. The little idle animations that they do, the credit sequence is great. The final boss, the look of the game, the atmosphere, the music, everything about it just comes together to deliver this awesome package, this awesome game. And it's just really, really worth playing. It is on Switch Online for Super Nintendo, so if you've got a Switch, you can play it there pretty easily. It's always nice when some of those older games are available easily for people to play, so I would definitely recommend checking this game out. But let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this game? Have you played it? Do you plan on playing it? Did you grow up with it? Let me know down below. I really want to hear from you guys. And as always, thanks for watching.